Hey everyone, welcome to Intelligence Mod. I'm Theo,
I'm Clint.
and welcome to RPGaDay, day number 10, Monday. This is Want. For those of you who decided not playing the home game here, RPGaDay is a thing in August. It happens every day. There's a new prompt. Today's is Want. Our question we're going with is, what RPG do you really want to be playing right now? I'm gonna go with, what RPG do you want me playing in person right now? Because yeah, right. I would love to actually play Dean. Oh, that's listening. I introduced it. Clint, you get to answer the question first. Actually,
I'm gonna say that anything I do answer it would be I'd rather do this in person. In
yeah,
general, I mean, RPG Roll20 makes D&D move so much smoother and faster. I feel that we can go back now and I redo our technology episode, a video that we did, and I kind of like badmouth Roll20. Now I've completely changed my mind. It's once you understand it, it's very easy.
actually, on a fun note, we could do an updated technology one because now we've actually played some of this stuff a bit more
But
now.
things that I want to do. I would games I want to play very badly is I want to play the Witcher TTRPG. I have the main book and I just got the Witcher. I think it's the Witcher's Handbook. I can't remember exactly the title. It's the Witcher's Journal. It's sitting behind me. It's basically the monster manual that gives a whole bunch of really cool information. It's just more monsters,
That's
and
pretty cool.
that's something I want to run really badly or play. And actually, I'd rather play. Another game I'd want to be in or
I admit, I
run
want to run it.
would be would be Soulbound, because these are the two new hot things. That's We have the PDFs because we pre-ordered it,
Yeah,
and I want it. I want it. I just want to run it. It seems way easier. It's a really simple game. It doesn't look very complicated, and I'm excited to run it. I have the free adventures they've been giving out and stuff and read through it. They're great. And those are probably the things I want to play really badly, is really just those two things.
yep. So for in person, definitely Soulbound. I own the book. I paid for it. I'm gonna check Cubicle 7 to see if there's like anything else that they're like putting out for it to try and save money up to do an order for it. Because I know there's supposed to be like an actual big monster book along with like they might do like some realm books. Which if they did that, I'd be like role playing in
Oh,
Gur, the realm of beasts, because that would just be fun.
wouldn't that be so awesome if they did a realm book for every realm?
That would be cool.
That'd be
It would be useful.
amazing.
It would be cool and pretty useful.
I would pay all the money to get a realm book for every realm. It would be like Exalted all over again when there was a book of directions for every area in Exalted. And I own almost every book of Exalted second edition.
Yeah,
That's easily maybe my biggest stack of books. But it'd be amazing. Yeah, I always think that every RPG needs.
that's tomorrow.
I think
The
every RPG
stack is
needs a.
tomorrow's.
I
The
know we'll
stack is
get
tomorrow's video.
true. I feel like every book, every RPG needs a monster manual. Like that's, I think, the second book that should come out is just more monsters because it's
Let's see.
helpful.
If I was to go with, I actually just went onto this Cubicle 7 page thing because they also other games. Games I want to play. Witcher is one. And actually, I actually want to run a Witcher game. Not playing it so much, but actually run a Witcher game because I like the challenge of running. If you watched our Morally Grey episode one,
Yeah,
those kind of games. Because I ran Ravenloft in 3.5 where you literally had that as kind of like the thing, and it's really fun to do and deal with and talk and like figure out, especially with The Witcher, where it's depending on what's being played, there are no good choices, and I like that kind of thing because you push the players to kind of like really think about it and actually like
I think if anyone.
sometimes it's dealing with a a choice option because you've got some games will be like, hey, we're going to deal with like slavery and you're the part of the slavers and, forces that thing on. Whereas with The Witcher, it forces you to like think about like, okay, how are you going to treat like some of this stuff based on just like, what you know of the world and everything like that. So I would definitely not call it a beginner's RPG. I would definitely call it a, if you're going to do it, you need to at least watch the show and
Wa-
read like
Watch
the first
watch
two books.
watching the show at a minimum would help you understand the tone of the setting.
Yeah.
Definitely. I hesitate to say go read the first two books. If you're really just wanting to understand the tone and how dark it
Oh
is, the
no,
show's enough. The show's
actually no.
enough.
Not read those first two books. Read the World of the Witcher, the one that's for the video games. It has like the entire World of the Witcher that goes from the books to the video game stuff. Because it also gives a good idea of like tone. And it goes
Watch a let's play of some of the missions in The Witcher 3.
yeah, like
That would also give you really strong
yeah.
tone.
Soulbound is the second one for me also as well because I own the book. I want to play it. I love Age of Sigmar. It's also really great. I if I had the extra money, I would pick up Wrath and Glory. I would pick up Wrath and Glory, the 40k RPG, same system as Soulbound. That's why I'm like, oh, I know how this works. Cool. Because it's not a oh, you're this, you're stuck playing like this. It's no, you can play whatever the hell you want, and they have like the different tiers and do different things. So like example, because you're such an AdMech freak, the
They're
Mechanicus.
interesting.
Well, the Mechanicus, you start off as a Skitari for tier 1, and you move up from there. So like by the time you get to like if you do a tier 4 game, you have a tech priest like Magos style, which is on par with a Space Marine in power and everything like that. And it's not just oh, the Space Marine does all the stuff. It's oh no, you as a tech priest, you there's a lot of missions when me and my friends played, we had moments where it was like, oh, we have 2 Space Marines, cool. You can keep all the hordes off of the tech priest who has to make 15 successful things on this because he's the only one that can do it, and they get progressively harder
Mm-hmm.
as they go forward, and there's no one to take the slack off. You have this one character can do this, and if you fail one, you lose. Like that should happen. I was like, I
That'd
like
be
that.
fun to that would be fun to play. I would like to play that. I want to play that. I keep seeing it was one of those. I know none of our group
Fourth,
owns the book, so I
yeah,
was going with stuff that one of us owned.
fourth edition Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh yeah, because Cubicle 7 put that
I've got
out.
two, and it's actually got a bunch of stuff out for it now. But I'm like, okay, tempting. My friends are playing it. They're like, it's just like playing
After
for
reading
a little
after
bit.
because I'm like up to my eyes in the end time series. I can understand wanting to being like, you know what, let's play a little Soulbound, but I can understand wanting to go back to fantasy because like, you know, old school, what the elves were, what the dwarves were, what the human kingdoms were. Like I could get why go because it's completely different in Age of Sigmar. I can understand going back to fantasy and that kind of timeline.
Yeah.
Completely valid to me. I actually kind of wanted to buy those books too. I just haven't yet. But if we're going in stuff that we don't even own, I'd love to play the L5R RPG.
That would be a lot of fun. That'd be a
That'd
lot
be
of fun
fun.
too.
None of us own any of those books. I've wanted to
Yeah,
get
pretty
them.
much. After I mentioned Soulbound, this is games it's things I don't own, but things I would love to actually try out. The problem is just like doing groups because I used to own all the Middle Earth Adventures of Middle Earth for 5th edition books. I had a small group that was ready to play, but it was pretty much just like one player and that actually really wanted to play. And people were like, I don't want to play Middle Earth; it's boring. Their first put out campaign takes over 7 years to play in real time.
Oh, good God.
But
That is
what
like
it
an
does,
impossibility to do.
no, the idea is it's not because of so what Adventures of Middle Earth did, and I really like this because in most games your downtime you just meh, like most people just ignore it, they don't do much with it, and everything like that. This was no, your downtime in this is an entire season. So your adventuring season is spring to fall,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go back home and you spend an entire thing all winter doing something like writing a book, or which is an actual option. You could write a book during the winter of stuff. You can train new skills. You can get accolades and awards and set up a house, get married, have kids. Which for the Mirkwood campaign, they actually tell the human players to do that. Like start a family, have kids. Because halfway through, because in the campaign world, it's a 30-year campaign. So your human character gets old and can no longer adventure. So
Yeah.
you retire that character and your kid takes over for you. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. Like they actually have that built into it.
downtime stuff is nice. I like that I've seen more and more games do downtime stuff or let you set up to do it, because most of the time, like, you don't do it because there's really no reason to. Like, crafting anything in Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons takes literally forever, and you can't really do it. And then later on in fifth
Yeah.
edition for Xanathars, they've added a downtime system. Soulbound has a set in downtime system.
Yeah.
After every time
Spellbound.
you do a
In
mission,
between adventures,
you get a
you
week.
have 1 week. 1 week to
You
do
get
list.
you get a week of downtime because the God King Sigmar understands you need a freaking break. So, and and those are the times you can do things, which is nice, which means you can, I feel, have a more fleshed out character when you basically have hobbies and side gigs. It makes it more entertaining to me.
It does. It's a very nice thing. And then out of like any game, I would just love to just play and try. I still want to do the Star Wars RPG.
Oh, the new one, the one by Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, well, because they're still supporting it, and
Yeah,
honestly, I'm literally sitting there going, I just want to pick up Edge of the Empire. I don't want to play Rebel. I don't want to play Jedi. I want to do Edge of the Empire.
yeah, the first one
Do
that
the
came out.
do the Outer Rim. Do the fun Shades of Grey thing. Pick up all the side books for that. Pick up maybe the Hellhada thing in Corellia to have the 2 extra things there, and then pick up the source books for the that are for all 3 things to get, so you can have Jawa so you can play and everything like that, and actually just kind of play set after Return of the Jedi and run with that, like the time frame of the Mandalorian and all this kind of fun stuff, and just because I do enjoy like what they've done there, and with that RPG, it's perfect because then you don't have to play bloody Jedi. And I like that. But I think that's pretty much like we've kind of gone through like what our big wants are and everything
Yeah,
like
big
that.
wants.
So
I feel like maybe what you do is do more one shots, really. Write
yeah,
up one shots, just do that, because that'd be the easiest for most of the games we want to play, which is it's really hard to get a group together regularly. You know, half of the games we mentioned, if we just went, here's the pre-generated characters, what do you want to be, we just want to play a one shot, because you could easily do it in most of these things. I think uh Artalsorian Games has pre-generated characters for The Witcher. I know Cubicle 7 put out pre-generated characters for Soulbound, and it lets you try this stuff out better instead of trying to make a whole campaign, which is really hard when we're in a few. I understand the people that can play in like 4 different games. I get so burnt out if I was doing that.
yeah, I agree.
But we'll close it out
Ooh.
then. Go ahead and
Yeah.
exit us out.
So yeah, just like, subscribe, or ring the bell. Tell us in the comments games you really want to play and everything like that. Watch our other videos on this channel. We have a lot of fun ones and some great stuff. We need to actually like put out some of the more regular content things at some point, but we just did very like we should record. Nah,
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
been
It's quarantine is it's tough, but like
it drains you in a different way.
this has been getting like back into that mindset of we should do more recording. It's kind of nice. So other than that, this is Clint. I'm Theo. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Yeah, see you Tuesday.